Welcome to Bead Auto Parts Facebook page. This is Thursday morning. We're getting prepared for our second week of our features of what we do here at Bead Auto Parts when you bring your machine work into us and it starts getting processed through our shop. In the first week video, we showed you the initial tear down, inspection, cleaning process where we put it in the vat, get it out, and get it ready to go into the various different departments. So what we're going to do today is we're going to feature this week our head department. So all of your cylinder heads come through this department. We've got one guy that works here, Gary. He's been here now for he's been here at Bead Auto Parts for about 16 years, and he's been in the head reworking business, head remanufacturing, rebuilding business for over 25 or 30 years. But anyway, he's very experienced, knows what he's doing. So what we're going to do this morning, we're going to kind of take you through each machine and tell you what this machine is and kind of tell you what we use it for and what purpose it serves and what it does. So we're going to start off this morning with we have a belt surfacing machine right here. Now this belt here, I'll show you. You pull it on. You can see this belt, it runs continuously in a circular motion. You can lay a component on here and make it flat. Now, primarily what we use this machine here for is mostly cast iron heads, okay? Something that does not require a multi-layer steel head gasket. Everything we surface on this machine pretty much uses a composition type head gasket where the RMA finish is not as critical as it is on an aluminum head. So that's the first machine we're going to highlight. We use this pretty regular. We use it just for anything that can be laid down flat, exhaust manifolds, certain headers, things like that, where you can actually get them laid down flat. We can run them through this machine and make them perfectly flat so that they get a good seal in the application that you're using it for. We'll step right over here. This is a bead blasting machine. This uses glass beads. We don't use sand. We use glass beads. It's a cabinet. You can open the cabinet right here, insert it, whatever you need to. We use this machine mostly for cleaning up valves, cleaning up items that we've got to paint for a rebuild that we're doing, exhaust manifolds, just various different items that you can put in here. You can bead blast them, and it's not going to contaminate anything in the engines. In other words, everything that we do here is pretty much where you can blow it off and clean it off real good. Because those beads, you don't want these little glass beads getting inside your engine, of course. So, well, all right, moving along after that, we're going to move over here to the SERTI machine. This machine here is what Gary uses for installing valve seats, valve guides. He sets a head up on this surface right here. This is a floating table, and then this table slides over, and he has these pilots. You can see all these pilots right here. These are all different size pilots, and that's what he uses when he has to put guides in. It's called a valve. It's called a guide and seat machine. So this is used pretty regularly in our process here. So Moving along from that, we've got this is a quick way valve grinding machine here. This is where we face all of our valves. You can see here Gary's got some that's already been faced. You can see it puts a nice fine surface on it. 45 degree, 30 degree angle, whatever the spec calls for. This was the machine that we used to actually face the valves that go back into the cylinder head. Moving right along over here, this is a pressure testing machine. You mainly, there's two types of ways to check for cracks in cylinder heads. The first way is if you magnaflux it. So magnafluxing basically is involved with cast iron heads only. You get the head cleaned real good. You put a magnetic charge in it and you kind of use a little dust in it. If it's got a crack, that dust will run to the crack. Aluminum heads are quite the opposite. Of course, aluminum, like this head right here, they're non-magnetic. In other words, you can't use dusting powder. So you have to pressure test those. So what we do is we set this up on this machine right here. We fill it full of water, and then we have air pressure. We put air pressure into the cylinder head. We block off all the water passages. We pressure it up with air, probably 40 to 50 pounds of air pressure in the head, and then we'll let it sit. And then as long as it holds the pressure, doesn't show any signs of leakage, that head should be good to go. So nowadays, more than probably, I would say, 60 to 70% of what we're doing now in the modern era of these automobiles is aluminum heads. So get a lot of use out of this machine right here. So moving right along. This is a drill press table. We use this table here primarily for cutting out seats or cutting out guides for putting screw-in studs and guide plates in Chevrolet heads. With this table here, you could set your head up here. You can level it. It tilts one way or another, and of course this comes down with a drill bit in it, and it's real precision machine. It holds very tight tolerances. So the next machine we have. So this is a CBN surfacing machine. So all aluminum heads have to be what we term CBN surfaced. In other words, it's got to have a very fine RMA finish on the head so that the multi-layer head gasket will seal. Head sits here. We set it upside down. We bolt it down. We level it. We've got a level here. We level the head left to right, front to back, so that it's perfectly level, because when you come across the sweep, to make it, to do the cut on the surface, you want it, naturally you want it level. So as you can see, this is a lot of the aftermath of surfacing aluminum heads. This is actually aluminum right here that we've cut off some cylinder heads, making it true. The head of this machine sweeps across, back and forth until it gets the complete cylinder head finished. It uses a cutter. Believe it or not, the cutter is about the size of a dime. It's not very big, but it does a very good job. This machine, I would say this machine gets as much use as any of them in the shop. Finally, and the last machine we have, which is also is a surfacing machine, but this machine, we primarily use this machine for keeping liquid down to keep it cool, to keep the cylinder head cool while you're doing the surface on it. Machine's up. It's very slow, but it's intentionally slow because when you're doing a big 6-cylinder diesel head, you want it to. You got to be very careful that it's very level, and you don't try to take too much off at one time. It probably takes, 3, 4, 5, 6 thousandths off at one sweep. So if you got a head that's, let's say it's 15 thousandths out, out of surface, the trueness is out, you may have to make 3 sweeps across it. So anyway, that's what this machine is. This is one of our older machines. We use it, I mean, we still use it quite a bit, especially when you get those big diesel heads. So that's kind of the features of the head shop, where all the machining gets done on cylinder heads. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you understand a little bit more now all of the processes and machining, different types of equipment that we used to get the heads up to where they need to be for the customer, and get them back ready to go back on the customer's vehicle. Whether we're just doing his cylinder heads or we're doing a complete engine build, either way, every head gets treated the same. We want to make sure that everything is correct, and when it goes back to the customer. So thanks for tuning in. Next week we'll be featuring our block department. I've got a block man, Steve. He's been over there now he's been with this company for over 30 years. And we're going to feature his department, the processes that we go through with boring a block, honing the block, installing cam bearings, freeze plugs, getting a block prepped and ready for assembly. So once again, thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next week.